Hi, this is Brett Hayes from Fearfair, Indiana's scariest haunted house. For the latest news and information, tutorials, anything you could want, you need to visit HauntersDigest.com. Best source for information, instruction, everything you need to know to be successful in the haunt industry. Well, Fearfair, this is our 14th season, 12 in our current facility. We spent our first 2 years in an old gymnasium in Seymour, and then we moved into this facility in 2003, and were able to purchase it here about 4 years ago, so we now own the building. Square footage, I think we're right around pushing 40,000 square feet. It takes about 35 minutes to go through the complete tour. We run a cast of around 60, 70 actors every night that we're open. 14 years, we've come a long way. We started out with walls made of pallets and wall panels and that sort of thing, and over the years we've refined our techniques and of course grown attendance to the point we could afford to build some bigger sets and larger props and that kind of thing, and so all of those things have brought us to the point we're at today. Well, we're a little unique in that aspect in that a large part of our show are movie scenes, and I know that there's a stigma attached to that or a lot of negative thinking about that. We view it just the opposite. I think a lot of people get the idea that doing movie scenes is sort of the easy way out or a shortcut. We think it's just the opposite because we actually have something that we're judged against. Haunts that do all original content, which we have our own original content too, and I'm a big supporter of that, but there's nothing to judge you by. They see your clown scene or your zombie scene, and there's nothing to really judge you by. When you're doing Friday the 13th, you're doing Nightmare on Elm, and we try to be very movie accurate, we're going to be compared to the film. We're going to be compared against the TV series, and our stuff needs to look at least passably as good as that. So we think that's challenging. We, of course, we're seated right now in our Frankenstein scene, so we always have a certain ode to the Universal monsters, but we tend to go with more contemporary shows. We recently cycled out our Hellraiser scene, cycled out Bloody Valentine. Those properties that go 2 or 3 years without a movie, we tend to cycle out of rotation because we always try to stay with fresh things. We've been very fortunate that most of the classic slasher films, at least every 3 or 4 years, get a remake. So we always update our scenes to keep with that. We do have our own original content, which is Hangar 17 and our military scenes. So we do that. We do Walking Dead scenes. The benefit of that, of course, is that there's a new season every year and always new stuff to keep going with that. So the contemporary audience is tough, though. I mean, they have a lot bigger expectations, and it's certainly a lot more expensive and a lot more difficult to put on a show that the modern kids and young adults, for that matter, are going to accept as something that they're gonna enjoy because you're being compared to video games, TV, movies, that sort of thing. thing with actor retention, we are an all-volunteer cast, and I know there are two schools of thought on that. That I have personally always found, and we have played with a paid cast, I find that we get a more committed, dedicated, and enthusiastic cast with volunteers. We just frankly do. You know, at the end of the day, at least I know one thing. Everyone who's here is here because they want to be here. And we've been very successful with volunteers. We do nice things for them. We have a nice cast party at the end of every year where there are prizes and that kind of thing. Every Friday before we open and Saturdays when we close, we have catered meals for our cast. So they can come straight from work on Fridays, so don't have to worry about, everybody's really busy, you get off work at 5. Our makeup call starts at 5:30, so people have to be here right away. So we always serve a nice meal then, and then we'll usually have pizza or something quick when we close on Saturdays. And it's all mainly about keeping a positive atmosphere, an enthusiastic atmosphere, being nice to people. I mean, and that sounds very basic, but I've been to so many haunts where management is just so abrasive, and we have really focused on keeping that level of enthusiasm and just keeping people happy. Well, first off, I don't think you have to be in a major metropolitan area. I do think you have to be centrally located. What we do have going for us is we are less than an hour's drive from both Indianapolis and Louisville, and only slightly over an hour from Cincinnati. So we have 3 major metropolitan areas that can be here very quickly, and our average customer does drive an hour. There are some unique points to that. Last night, for instance, we had a lot of rain. Rain was forecast all week. It rained right up through opening. About 9 o'clock, the rain stopped. We still didn't have a very good night. And when I talk to other guys I know who own haunts in Cincinnati and Indianapolis, their crowd picked up at 9 and they ended up salvaging a decent night. And the difference is that everyone who comes to Fearfair has probably driven an hour, and that means they've planned ahead. So it is a little different for us. You know, if rain's forecast on a Thursday, and then it clears off at noon on Friday and it's a beautiful night, we're still probably going to suffer because everyone's already made alternative plans. So in all of our marketing and everything we do, we have to think about that time gap and what that means to us. A lot of promotions, like putting something out on Twitter or putting something out on Facebook that, hey, you know, for the next 2 hours, everyone who shows up, half price, that just doesn't work for us because everyone's coming from a farther distance. But historically, people don't mind traveling. People from our area, for example, think nothing of driving an hour or two to a concert. If you're, you know, and part of it's making people understand that if you are in Greenwood or Southport, Indiana, anywhere on the south side of Indy, the market leader in that market's Indy Scream Park, which is actually, you know, in Anderson. If you're in Greenwood, Southport, you'll be at Fearfair faster than you'll be at Indy Scream Park. So we try to push out in our marketing that, you know, the drive is not as bad as you think. You'll actually be here a lot faster than you might think. without dealing with busy traffic. So we push that, but it does all have to be, you have to keep that in mind at all times. And I wouldn't encourage anybody who's not in a major metropolitan area from giving it a go. But I think you do need to be pretty centrally located to highways, and in all of your marketing and everything you do, you need to keep in mind that people are going to be driving a distance. And so focus your promotions you do, your advertising, your hours, everything you do around that.
Hello, friend! What have a mind you be doing? Eagle! Yes, Doctor! I brought some new specimens. Oh, perfect. Always love the new ones. Well, there you are. Just in time. Never thought of donating my brain to science, did it? Well, just whatever you do, enjoy your stay here at Casa de Frankenstein.
Hey! Help me, please! Help! He's gonna kill me! Help me! Help!
Well, my base approach with social media, beyond getting into the algorithms and all that, is how you approach it. And I like to give the comparison of that guy in your office who's always coming around, and every 2 weeks his kids are selling some kind of fundraiser, or he's always trying to sell you something or get you to volunteer for something. You really don't want to see that guy. But the guy who comes around every day and tells you a funny joke or has something humorous to say or whatever, that guy you're anxious to hear from. So we always try to be that guy that everyone's glad to hear from, that guy who tells the funny jokes, has the funny pictures, all of that thing. And we approach that from a year-round perspective. So year-round, every day, every other day, and most of it is somehow haunt-related, we're putting up memes and jokes and that kind of thing to keep us in people's news feed and keep people liking our posts and keep people, all those metrics that keep you on top. And then, late August, early September, we start saying, hey, we also do this haunted house thing, and we'd like you to come out and see what we're doing. So don't approach it as advertising, approach it as building a friend base. And I'm very happy, we're just about to, I think, tick over to 19,000 on our Facebook page. And I feel like those are all really valid likes, because I have done some small promotions, but I've always really kept it focused. Pretty much every like that we have on our Facebook page is not just a spam like. I mean, they're all very valid. And we do, when we look at our metrics, our engagement remains high because of that. So I think my biggest approach before you get into talking about when you want to boost posts, when you want to pay for stuff, is just maintain that, be the fun guy that everybody wants to see the jokes from. Then when the time comes, let them know about your event. Bring them back. If you're doing things in the off season, we all are. We all have film shoots going on. We all have promotional events that we're going out to. Put that stuff out there, keeping people's awareness year round. Now, starting about late August, early September, I will boost some posts, and we will do some paid marketing with Facebook. But I don't do it in the off season. I only do it, and usually by about this time, mid-October, we usually stop doing it and let it carry on out organically. But what I will boost are when we first put up our dates for the season. I'll boost that post to try to make sure that gets in front of as many people as possible. Another thing we do, now that's Facebook. With Twitter, we try to stay very engaged real time. Twitter's obviously a lot more time sensitive. Most of our major characters have their own Twitter accounts. During the times that we're open at night, myself and a couple of other people were constantly searching Twitter for mentions. Someone tweets, hey, headed out to Fearfair, they're going to get that tweet liked, and they're usually going to get a response back that says the monsters are waiting for you or whatever. And then you get a lot of organic spread that way. So always when you're open at night, constantly be scanning Twitter, replying to people, keep going with that, because those are the things. Then for the rest of the week, you'll see that those tweets continue to get favorited, retweeted, all that, and you'll go through like Wednesday or Thursday off of the momentum that you built the previous weekend. So I think that's important. That's the kind of thing we do. It's all not so much, unfortunately, it's not like radio ads. You can't call up the radio station, pay the money, and forget about it. With social media, which we believe is becoming a bigger and bigger part of our marketing mix, it's frankly the largest part of our marketing mix. You have to be constantly engaged with that stuff and on top of it. So that's the price you pay, but it's probably the most valid medium out there right now. One thing that we do when we're determining which scenes we're going to do, which scenes are going to go, what are going to be new scenes, we do a year-end survey every year. We invite anyone who's come through this year to go. We keep it short, about 10, 12 questions, so they can quickly fill it out. And we ask those questions. What were your favorite scenes? What were your least favorite scenes? What movies are you excited about seeing next year? Those kind of questions. And then we'll incorporate that data along with what we've heard from people outside, what our outside staff has heard from people, and we'll sort of make those decisions. For instance, 2 years ago, removed Hellraiser. Last year, this season, we've done away with our Jeepers Creepers scene. Those properties were just getting tired. People were forgetting about them. The younger generation didn't know those characters that well, and so it was just time to move on from that.
What do you want? Who sent you? Are you the police? You gonna take my cat? What do you want? Who sent you?
Well, John sent me.
Are you the police?
No.
You gonna take my cat?
No, I didn't.
My cats are my world.
I know, baby. I know. It's all right. I'm not gonna take the
What the
cat.
hell did you bring to my house?
I didn't bring nothing.
What the hell's out there? Get the hell out of here! Hurry!
All right.
Oh my God, there's something on there, please, please, don't take me, please, I don't want to.
No! No! Oh, is there?
Oh my
What is that thing?
Oh my God, there's something out there. There's something wrong with me. Oh my God.
So always just stay in tune with your consumer. It's like any other business. You just want to know, and it has nothing to do with what things I personally like or what movies our cast personally likes. It's all about the public and what scenes excite them. So we try to make decisions based on that. We do not do detailed sketches or blueprints. I'm not saying we shouldn't. Frankly, we probably should. I can't draw. And so the ideas that are in my head, I'm not able to reduce to sketches. I wish I could. But the 4 or 5 of us who are very active, both management and build team, we usually get together in November, talk about what scenes we feel like need to go, so we sort of know what area we're going to have to build in. Then we talk about what new properties or scenes we want to bring in. Then we'll just start with graph paper and lay out the total floor space we have available. We'll usually come up with 8 or 10 wish list of scenes we'd like to have, knowing that we probably only have room for 4 or 5, and then we'll sort of narrow that down. We try to go with really iconic things. If you look at a movie or any character, for example, there are things that people associate immediately with that. We redid Texas Chainsaw Massacre this year. It's the 40th anniversary, and we really wanted to bring that up. And the things in that movie, for example, are the house, the roadside store, the meat packing plant. You know, we try to hit on those 3 or 4 iconic scenes from whatever we're doing and make sure we incorporate those. One of the things, and I encourage anyone who's getting into the business or even haunts that have been out there for a few years, our experience has always been that anytime we are able to get media attention, if we're able to get a television station to come out, we're able to get even a newspaper to come out, one of the first things that they always want, either video footage or photography of, are people getting into makeup. And we had decided that, you know, we have all these wonderful looking scenes and we had this horrible amateur looking makeup area, and so a lot of the driving force behind that was, you know, we wanted to look as professional backstage as we do in front of the stage. And so we did that for a big reason, so that when media came we could really look professional, and hopefully people would understand that, well, gee, if the makeup room looks that good and they're that serious about that, it must look good in the house as well. The other thing was efficiency. I mean, all of us do this. We're trying to get, every haunt is trying to get from 25 to probably 80 people into makeup in an hour and a half, 2 hours. So if you don't have an efficient workspace, that's really difficult. So I think there's tremendous value in having a nice backstage area. I know it's sort of the last thing that most haunts ever consider as important, but based on our experience, we would encourage anyone to really look at having a nice professional makeup area, costume storage, that kind of setup. I think the pros to having centralized audio and video way outweigh the cons. Number one is keeping your actors from messing with things. We used to have powered speakers separately out in scenes. We would always find, and the larger you grow, you just can't be everywhere at the same time and micromanage things. We had people swapping out CDs for music that they thought they liked better, adjusting their own volume so that the sound is way too loud in some scenes and not loud enough in others, and that kind of thing. And by going to a centralized system, you have a central point of control. The other thing I encourage, we use all digital audio sources. We don't have a single disc of any sort involved in the system. And that also eliminates a lot of headaches with CD players, DVD players, that sort of thing. So we have a rack of sources that play any kind of digital file. Then from there, I go into a matrix switch, and that's a great investment to make. It's become very inexpensive. In our application, we have a 64 channel by 64 channel matrix, meaning I can process 64 inputs into 64 outputs any way I want. I can hit one button and play. Before we open in the evenings, we play music through the whole building. I think right now I have 37 zones of sound. They all play the same. They play from iTunes, from a Mac in the dressing room. We have voiceover capability that with a microphone, so we call actors to makeup. That's also great for emergencies. If we need to make an announcement across the whole house, we can. You can't do that unless you're centralized. So then we go through that matrix system. Then from there, we go to all of our amplifiers. And those are all centrally located as well. No problems with, we know immediately if there is an issue with it. We don't know that, the little amp that was in some scene in the middle of the house died 2 nights ago, and we just found out about it. I mean, we know right away if there's an audio problem. So I'm a big proponent of doing a centralized system. I find it very efficient and effective. It's a little bit, I don't even know if it's more expensive. I think it may be less expensive, but I think the benefits far outweigh the costs or the cons.
Please, get me out!
My first tip to someone who's looking to get started or investigate the possibility of opening a haunt is absolutely to go work or volunteer for a haunt. I would do that at least for a couple of years. There's no better way to learn the ins and outs, see the challenges, get ideas about how maybe you think you could do things better than to work with or be involved with another haunt. So I absolutely encourage that. There are no books. I mean, there are some books, but there's no sort of resource. You can't go to college to be a haunter. And so the best is on the job training. So go out, get involved with another local haunt, learn that way. Consume every bit of tutorials, information you can find. Utilize, we have some awesome resources that are available to the industry now. Places like Haunters Digest, the Haunt World forums, places like that. Go out and consume every bit of how-tos, tutorials, people who are icons in the industry, see how they're doing things. I really encourage everyone to watch Alan Hopps's tutorials and videos. He's excellent with an eye toward cost efficiency too. Basically, just become a sponge for knowledge and consume every bit of instructional information you can get your hands on. Because it's all going to pay off in the end.
No!
Yes, I love it. I actually go to school in Indianapolis, at the University of Indianapolis, and so I drive down every weekend. Yeah, I absolutely love it. If you want to get out and do it, it's just a matter of doing it, you know, contacting the director or whatever. And once you're there, enjoy it, you know. You're there to scare people, stay in character, you know, become that character, and you can really, it's a lot of fun.
I came through here last year with some family and friends, and I became a fan of this place on Facebook, and they was advertising about a fear camp to come audition and be a part of the haunted house, so I came up here, and now here I am.
Passion. Make sure you have passion for your character. Without the love of the character, you never actually fully become the character whenever you're in your actor's role.
Help me, please! It's the boogeyman! Please, no! No!
The trick with our stunt is he comes out and basically bashes me into a furnace.
Yes, she does, as for the stunt, she does the majority of the work. I just act along with it and just make it appear as if I'm throwing her, but she's actually throwing herself. That way it keeps her from getting hurt because she's in control of it.
Yeah, and the trick is,
And,
you ready? When he comes back, I hit with that shoulder, bounce up, and down.
and when she does that, I actually will kick the furnace to get the sound.
Ready?
Grab and kind of protect her head. When she does it, I kick. Pretty much the stunt for this, for the basement area.
Help me, please! Please, you gotta help me!